So as the build-up to the 2021 Orby sale begins in earnest, I'm delighted to be joined by Henry Beeby, the Group Chief Executive of Goffs. And Henry, in 5 months' time from now, the Orby sale 2021 will all be over. What will you be hoping to have achieved in 5 months' time?
Well, I hope we'll be hoping to achieve what we normally look for, which is a vibrant sale that returns good results on behalf of our vendors and means that purchasers leave thinking they've got some real contenders for two-year-old careers and then on to classic careers. We'll be hoping that we can reflect after 2021 on a sale that recovered. Last year was a disappointing year, largely caused by the COVID pandemic and the fact that we had to relocate to the UK. One of the unique selling points of the Goffs Orby sale is Kildare Paddocks, arguably the best sales complex for bloodstock in the world, and the unique welcome we can give people when they come to Kildare Paddocks for the 2 days of Orby. So I hope that in October 2021, we look back and say, job done, that the sale has returned to its position as one of Europe's premier yearling sales. For the 7 or 8 years leading into last year, we'd been on a rise. We'd had consistent 7-figure top prices, consistent 6-figure top prices every year, and clearance rates between 84 and 89% every year for those preceding 7 or 8 years. That's what Orby's normally about. It's about quality. It's about the best we can produce, and it's about looking to see some of the best horses, yearlings that there are on the market in Europe each year.
And of course, Henry, it's all well and good selling horses in the sales ring for good prices and good returns for vendors, etc. But the ultimate proving ground is, of course, the race course. And Orby graduates have been doing very well in all the right places recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's our proud boast that virtually every year, I can't say every year, but virtually every year, Goffs produces at least one European Classic winner. That's happened already this year with Mother Earth winning the English 1000 Guineas in fine style for the Coolmore team. We were delighted to see that filly win at the highest level. You've got horses like Gear Up heading towards the Derby for the Johnsons, and then across the United States, just recently, a very smart 2-year-old Twilight Gleaming for Wesley Ward. Those are the sort of horses, that's just 3 to mention, who are what we're all about. It's selling the best horses for the best people, to the best people. We're delighted for connections. We're delighted for vendors when they get a good price. We're delighted for the breeders when those horses perform on the track. And of course, it's all about delivering for the purchasers. So when those horses win, it drives people, hopefully, back to Kildare Paddocks for the Orby sale year on year.
Just returning to Kildare Paddocks, Henry, how important is it for the Orby to be back home? I mean, it's essentially the Irish national yearling sale. So how important do you think it is that it's back on Irish shores this year?
Well, it's vital. You took the words out of my mouth. This sale has always been called the Irish National Yearling Sale because that's what it is. It's the most important sale of the year held in these shores. It's very important to us. And I think perhaps as a team, we arguably underestimated the unique selling point of Kildare Paddocks, of people coming to Ireland and enjoying their time there. I mean, there's a number of people who would come to the Orby yearling sale every year, and it might be the only time they come to Ireland from England for the year and stay. And so they come to Kildare. They might stay in a beautiful place like the K Club. They come to Kildare Paddocks, which, as I've said, is certainly the most customer-friendly sales complex I've ever been to. Beautifully laid out. The likes of Jonathan Irwin and the Rogers family who designed it back in the 70s. It was ahead of its time. It's arguably still ahead of its time. It's easy to use. It's welcoming. It's comfortable. It's easy to get to. And so being back in Ireland is very, very important to us. As I said, last year was a massive disappointment. We didn't deliver. We were forced to move the sale to England. It didn't work for us. And we have a lot of work to do to rebuild that trust. But we have no doubt that back in Kildare Paddocks, with the support of Irish breeders, we will be able to deliver another top-class sale at the Orby sale this year.
I suppose one feature of Goffs is that the shareholders and indeed the board of directors, as well as being good horse people, they're also good business people as well. And no doubt you will have all closely examined the results from last year's Orby sale. What new measures or what changes, if any, have Goffs brought in to the Orby sale for this year, Henry?
Well, the most important, the biggest, and the one that will draw most attention is that we have introduced the Goffs Million. So the Goffs Million, run on the weekend before the 2022 Orby yearling sale, will be only open to graduates of the 2021 Orby yearling sale. So any yearling sold this year will be able to run in what will be Europe's richest two-year-old race next year, with a guaranteed minimum value of €1 million, with prize money down to 10th place, with the added bonus that if the Goffs Million winner wins a Group 1 three-year-old race in the United States, in Australia, in France, in Britain, or in Ireland, Goffs will give them a €100,000 bonus. So the Goffs Million will mean, as one noted breeder said to me recently, it will mean that everybody has to come, because the only way to race and run for Europe's richest two-year-old race in 2022 will be to buy at the Orby sale. So we hope it acts as a powerful incentive. We're unashamedly revisiting the million concept. In the 80s, the Cartier Million rejuvenated Goffs. In the noughties, the Shelburne and Park Nasilla Million rejuvenated Goffs, and we hope it does the same again. It's been adapted for the modern day, and we hope it acts as a powerful incentive, and I'm delighted that it's had such a good response as we announced it. And one of the key points for vendors is it'll cost not a penny more for vendors to be involved in the Orby sale. The entry fee is the same as last year. It's very competitive. It's less than its competitor sales, and we hope it offers great value to people. Ultimately, the result that vendors are looking for is a result in the sales ring, and we hope that the addition of the Goffs Million will only add to that potential.
How many horses are you planning or hoping to catalogue in this year's Orby, Henry?
Well, I think we'll look to tighten it. We've had about 475 the last couple of years, and perhaps that's been just a few too many. We won't set a specific number because it's really about walking the fields and walking the yards with leading Irish breeders, taking their advice, seeing what they'd like to do, listening to them, and then hopefully cataloguing a catalogue full of potential racehorses. The focus is the horse at Goffs. Of course, we want good pedigrees, but we want horses that can walk like champions, horses that look like they're going to race and race as two-year-olds, race as three-year-olds, have durability, have class, and have great potential. So I'd say we'll be somewhere between 400 and 475, somewhere between what we had last year and somewhere around what we had, I think, back in 2011. But putting a specific number on is not the right thing to do. We pick the horses. We're nothing without the horses, and we'll rely on vendors to support us and give us a fair crack at the whip, and hopefully send some of their best to Goffs, as they've done so consistently down the years.
Goffs have always tried and succeeded, I would say, to create a dynamic international buying bench, if you like. And Goffs agents internationally have always been a very important part of the business model, and you've further strengthened the team of Goffs agents this year.
Yes, I mean, our buyer recruitment team is a strong team. It's a team of depth, of knowledge, and of diversity. It's headed by our marketing director, Joey Cullen, backed up by Haley O'Connor and Tom Taffer on the permanent team. The three of them are superb in the first place. They're then backed up by our established agents like Mark Player in Australasia, Philips Vicky in Scandinavia, Matthias Sieber in Germany, Kishore Mapuri in Eastern Europe, Gianluca Del Castanova and Angelo Robbiati in Italy. And this year we've added Gatewood Bell, retired from us when he joined Keeneland. So we've added Jacob West to our team in the United States, hugely respected, passionate bloodstock agent, and we hope he'll be able to drive more American buyers to Kildare paddocks, given the huge success that Orby horses have been enjoying in the United States in recent years. We've added Amanda Zetterholm in France, part of the Aga Khan team, a very passionate young lady who has a point to prove as well. And we've created a new role as the Goffs British agent this year. Mark Richards is returning after a very good 20-year career in Hong Kong. He's coming back. He'll be based in Newmarket, and his focus will be to encourage as many British buyers to come to the Orby sale. So I think we've got an outstanding buyer recruitment team. It's diverse. It covers the globe. I also meant to mention Takaya Komori in Japan. So we've got a great team who all the way around the world are able to fly the flag for Goffs and specifically promote the Orby sale as being a sale that really people can't afford to miss.
And of course, the team is backed up as well by a brilliant organisation in Irish thoroughbred marketing.
Well, ITM are great, as you say, a superb organisation. There to do what we're trying to do, which is bring people to Ireland, to introduce overseas visitors to Ireland and all that's good about Irish bloodstock. And the fact that Irish bloodstock is, carries all before it around the world, it means that our team, combined with ITM, can travel the world to promote Goffs yearling sales on an annual basis. So it's something that happens 365 days of the year. Our team, together with ITM, our team both in Ireland and around the world, and the Irish Thoroughbred marketing team, are promoting Irish thoroughbreds, all that's best about Irish thoroughbreds, and the best Irish thoroughbreds are at Goffs.
Just for our international viewers, Henry, what is the situation in Ireland at the moment? We're speaking in early May. What is the situation in Ireland at the moment with COVID-19 and restrictions for overseas visitors coming into the country?
Well, at the moment, we're relatively early on in the vaccination program, but that is going full steam ahead. And our Taoiseach, our Prime Minister, tells us that he expects that at least 80% of the Irish nation will have been vaccinated by the end of June. So by the time we get to the autumn yearling sales, we hope that we'll be able to welcome international buyers back to Ireland pretty unencumbered. There will undoubtedly be some protocols in place to keep everybody safe and ensure that we're compliant, as we always would be. And we're working very, very closely with Horse Racing Ireland, who link into government, to ensure that we have protocols in place to work. At the moment, we're looking at what they call the bubble, to ensure that people can come in a safe and compliant way from overseas without the need to quarantine for an extended period of time, and can come straight to Kildare paddocks, view the horses in comfort and in safety, and then depart home. So we hope and believe and are pretty confident that by the Orby sale in particular, things will be back to a fair degree of normality. In the meantime, we have our Land Rover sale in June. We're working on that as well, and are pretty confident that we'll be able to welcome buyers to that sale too. But we believe that by then, hopefully, we'll be looking over our shoulder at COVID rather than looking at it in the face.
As well as being Chief Executive, Henry, you're also part of the yearling inspection team at Goffs. How have the viewings been going so far?
Well, we're right at the beginning of May. They're going well. I mean, it's one of the most enjoyable aspects of my job is particularly when the sun is shining like it is today, to be able to walk around some of the beautiful paddocks on Irish stud farms, talk to some of the leading breeders of bloodstock in the world, and chat to them about their beautiful thoroughbreds, and then select some of them with those breeders to come to the Orby sale. So it's a wonderful part of the job. We've always said at Goffs, we're nothing without the horse. We can't do anything. It doesn't matter how many agents we have around the world, how many marketing initiatives we introduce, how passionate we are. If we haven't got the horses, we've got nothing. So these next few weeks are crucially important. So myself, Nick Nugent, Jerry Hogan, Neil Walsh, Mary Kilduff, and the rest of our team who go out inspecting, Andrew Nolan, Peter Maloney, go out inspecting these yearlings, are in a very privileged position, because we're seeing future classic winners, future Royal Ascot winners, beautiful horses, Grade 1 winners in the United States, down under in Australia. We're seeing them at every field we walk into. There's potential there, and it's an absolute joy. And when you see some, cool looking colt or some beautiful filly, and it's got a swagger to it, and you think to yourself, oh yeah, I love that. And, I can think back to some of the really good horses we've sold in recent years, and I've seen them in the raw, if you like, at this time of the year, often just swagging around a field or up and down a yard. And then you see them at Kildare paddocks at the Orby sale. And then you're at Ascot or at the Curragh or at Epsom or at Newmarket or maybe even at the Breeders' Cup. And you see those horses there and you think, that's one of our horses. And that's what we call them. Arguably, we're nothing to do with them. We hold them in our hands, if you like, you and I as auctioneers, for 2.5 minutes, sometimes a bit longer, when the horses make a few quid. And we're nothing to do with them really, other than they've walked through our sales ring and under our gavel, if you like. But whenever a horse has walked through our sales ring, it becomes one of ours. It becomes a Goffs graduate. And then we cheer as loudly as if we own every hair on their body. And it gives us enormous pleasure. So I watch Mother Earth in the Guineas on television at home. My dog started barking. My wife ran for cover because I was screaming at the television in excitement. And that's what it does to us. When a Goffs graduate wins, it gives us enormous pleasure because it means that the vendor has got a good price, hopefully. It means that the breeder has bred another successful horse. And importantly, it means the purchaser has got what he came to Goffs for, a winner. And that's what we're all about.
You mentioned Mother Earth. I think it's interesting as well. Mother Earth was obviously sold at the Orby sale. Mr. Bulger had actually entered Poetic Flair, his 2,000 guineas winner, in the Orby sale as well, and then decided to withdraw the horse nearer to the time. But the two horses were actually catalogued 2 or 3 lots apart, which I guess just shows the quality that is in an Orby sale any given year.
The depth of quality in the Orby sale in any given year, as you say, Bernard, is deep, it's diverse, it caters to everybody. You know, it's at a 6-figure average virtually every year for the last 10 years, with the blip last year, and normally a 7-figure top price. And it's all about the quality that Irish breeders produce year on year on year. And happily, they show support to Goffs and bring a good selection of their best to the Orby sale every year. So that when Jacob West is talking to an American trainer, when Mark Player is talking to an Australian agent, when Philip Zicki is talking to a Scandinavian owner, when Mark Richards is walking into the parade ring at Newmarket to talk to the connections of horses there, he can look them in the eye and he can say with absolute confidence, these are some of the best yearlings you're going to see in Europe or anywhere this year. You're going to see some potential classic winners, potential Royal Ascot winners, potential ARC contenders, potential Breeders' Cup contenders. You're going to see them at Goffs over 2 days in the Orby sale in beautiful surroundings. And that's why we are proud to call the Orby sale the Irish National Yearling Sale, because it encompasses, it encapsulates all that's best about Irish bloodstock over the 2 days.
This is your, if I've done my sums correctly, this is your 15th year at Goffs, Henry. So of course it's your 15th Orby sale that you're heading into. Over that decade and a half, what would you say the highlights have been for you personally?
Well, I think it's being able to grow the Orby sale in the way that we were doing. I'm not shying away from last year, but until up to 2019, the sale had made huge progress. It was being taken more and more seriously by the vendors who supported it and by the purchasers who came to it. And if you look in 2017, 18, 19, the diversification of the international buying bench, the number of buyers that turned up, I think per lot we had a higher number of buyers or bidders than anybody else that we could see when we did our analysis. So the highlights are really consistently delivering. I wouldn't pick one horse out or one particular highlight. What I'd say is, as an auctioneer or as the chief executive of Goffs, the guy who ultimately runs the show, what I'm looking for, what gives us satisfaction, is that when we talk to a vendor and a vendor says he's hoping for a certain figure, if we get anything over that, any bid over that, then that is like we've delivered for them. If it's not job done, it's a satisfying result. So it's not all about the €1 million yearlings, although we love to have them. It's about talking to a guy who hopes he might get the average of the sale, which is consistently around the €100,000 mark, and he gets 120 or 130. It's about talking to the guy who sends you his best yearling, who he hopes might make 250. And when your hammer comes down, it's made 400 or 500. It's talking to the lady or gentleman who says, this is the best yearling I've ever had. And I hope could it make something approaching 7 figures? And I'm thinking of one sale topper a few years ago that the vendor said to me, and I was the auctioneer, the lucky auctioneer, who said, look, if I don't get $1 million, you will have let me down. And when the hammer came down, the yearling made $1.7 million, and he was overjoyed. That's what it's about. It's about, the highlights are about when every lot comes in, exceeding expectations. That's what the Goffs team works towards. You know, as auctioneers, whether it's me or you or Nick Nugent or Andrew Nolan or George Stanners or Hugh Blaheen, that's what we're ultimately aiming for. And when Jerry Hogan and Neil Walsh add to that team, looking in the fields, and Mary Kilduff and Porrick Gahan, when they're standing in the fields looking, they're hoping that we can exceed expectations. I mean, don't get me wrong, people have great choice. Nobody has to come to Goffs. We have a very strong and viable and impressive competitor. But it's about saying, they'll do a good job. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this horse the center of our world for the 2.5 minutes it's in the ring. In the lead up to the sale, when the catalogue comes out, we're going to make sure your horse is promoted on an individual basis to as many buyers as possible around the world, using our network of agents, using our marketing initiatives, so that we exceed your expectations. So whatever you're looking for, we do just that bit better.
Well, Henry, it was very nice to speak to you as always. And over the next few weeks, I will be speaking to other members of the Goffs team as well, the inspection team, the client relations and buyer team as well, and of course some of your new Goffs agents also. So I look forward to speaking to all of those, and I wish you well with all your inspections. I hope the weather is going to be okay. I presume that the tie is going to come off, and the waterproofs are going to probably replace the suit and tie.
Well, the coat and tie will come off in about 5 minutes, and I will be, as you say, donning my Goffs jacket and cap. I have welly boots and waterproofs in the car at all times, and I'll be heading out. I've got a great day ahead of me. I'm going to see 2 or 3 of the leading consigners of yearlings in Europe this year, and I can't wait. And this afternoon, I'll be on one farm where I'll be walking the fields, and I'll see a huge number of yearlings, and maybe 15 to 20 of them will end up in the Orby sale, and I just can't wait. This is such an exciting time of the year. We look forward to it. And, you know, the ultimate goal is to get the best to the Irish National Yearling sale, to the Goffs Orby sale.